Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you followed me for a long time, you know, in a lot of my recipe videos, I speak of my mother. Unfortunately, she is no longer with us. She passed away about a week ago. And I honestly didn't think that I was going to be able to get in my kitchen this quickly and do filming for you guys because it's just been a total devastation. I can't even tell you how devastating it has been. It's really hard when you lose your mother. But like I said, I didn't think that I would be back in my kitchen filming this quickly. But, you know, what I found comfort-wise for me is cooking. My mom was an amazing cook, and she just could throw anything together and it tasted absolutely amazing. And I've done a lot of cooking for the last week. I've been up like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning doing a lot of cooking because that is my coping mechanism for my grief. We all have different coping mechanisms for our grief, and I feel that when I'm in my kitchen, I have a little bit of peace because I feel like she's here with me, and it's just my way of coping. So, you know, don't ever judge anybody or let anybody judge you of, you know, how you handle your grief. You know, you do whatever makes you, you know, feel better. So today, let me tell you another little story here. When the family and I were all, you know, gathered together, we were reminiscing about what an amazing cook she was. Self-taught cook, that is. And I remember my sister said anything she made, you know, she would just use things that she had on hand. And that just, I never knew where I got that saying from, but I never thought about it. But that's what I've always, you know, tried to teach you guys is to, you know, just use in your kitchen what you have on hand. And that just made, I don't even know what to say. It just was very heartfelt when I heard her say that. She just used whatever she had on hand because, you know, that's what I always say. Just use whatever you have on hand. So today I'm going to do a, just a simple chicken soup, a chickenless chicken soup. It's a chicken noodle soup with no chicken. If you want to put chicken in it, feel free to put chicken in it. I wanted something warm and cozy today, and you guys know how much I love soup, and I just wanted to throw something very simple together. Very simple. This is so easy to make, and you know, like my mama always says, we're going to use what we have on hand. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this is a very simple recipe. You know, like I said, I'm using what I have on hand, but let me show you what I've got going on here. I've got some onions cut up. This is just a very small onion because we're making a very small pot of this. My refrigerator is absolutely full because, like I said, I've been doing grief cooking, and you know, I have just been cooking and cooking and cooking, but I just at that point didn't feel like filming at that point. I've got 1 clove of garlic here just cut up, minced. I've got 1 carrot here, just cut, you know, not too thick, not too thin. And I've got a stalk of celery. This is, I think, the celery heart. You don't have to use the celery heart. You can use whatever. And I've also used some of the leaves from the celery because, you know, that just gives such an amazing flavor. Don't throw that out. This stuff smells so good, just like this. What you're going to do is I've got my little tiny pan here. Which was my mama's. I'm going to try to get through this, guys. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil to the bottom of my pan there. And then what we're going to do is, let me bring you closer. we're just going to add everything into this pan. Onions, garlic, celery, everything. And then we're just going to saute this together and just until the vegetables start becoming just a little bit soft and translucent for the onions and garlic. It smells so good already. Now to this, we're going to add about 7 or 8 cups of water. All right, that's 8 cups. I've used 8 cups of water there. We're going to turn this up a little bit and let it start to come into a boil. Oh, it smells so good already. And then I'm going to add some chicken bouillon cubes because that's what I have on hand. If I would have had chicken stock on hand, I would have used that, but I don't have any chicken stock on hand because I used it when I made chicken and noodles a few days ago. So we're going to put 2, 4, 6 of the bouillon cubes in there. And if you use chicken stock out of the can, I would recommend at least adding another bouillon cube if you want it really chickeny, because you know I like to add bouillon cubes when I'm cooking, even with the chicken stock. We're going to bring this up to a boil and we're going to let this cook until the carrots and the celery become nice and soft. But while we're waiting for that to come to a boil, we're going to add some black pepper. It smells so good. And you know, it is the season of the sick right now. We're going into fall weather or cold winter weather. I'm going to add some minced onion flakes because they're just going to, you know, they're just going to add a delicious flavor to that. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder, even though I had garlic, fresh garlic. Because you want your broth to be nice and seasoned. That's powder. Okay, I wanted to make sure it wasn't salt. I'm not going to add any additional salt to this because, you know, the chicken bouillon cubes are extremely salty. Look at that. That broth has come together beautifully, absolutely beautifully, and it smells so good. The only thing I am going to add is I'm going to add a little bit of celery salt because I like it. If I had the seed on hand, I would use that instead, but we're just going to do just a little tiny bit of that. Maybe just a 1/4 of a teaspoon if you're doing measurements here. And again, you know, I always eyeball everything. I just cannot measure things out. I'm just not a measure person. And again, we're just going to let this go ahead and cook slowly. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to turn it down and just let it cook slowly until the vegetables are nice and tender. And then what we're going to do is add, you can use any type of noodle you want. You know, you do not have to use spaghetti. If you have fettuccine, you could use the fettuccine. If you have linguine, if you want to keep it simple and use the egg noodles, anything you want to use, spirals, you could use orzo, any type of noodle you want to use. You do not have to use the spaghetti. This is just, say it with me, what I have on hand. So we're going to add this in just a little bit, but I'll bring you back here before we do. So this is the noodle that I'm going to use. Now again, we're just going to bring this up to a boil and let it simmer just until those veggies are nice and soft. All right, my carrots are just about soft enough. So I'm going to go ahead and add my pasta in there, and just a little indication of how I like mine. I'm just going to grab one of these little carrots here, and if the fork goes nice and softly through it, it's done enough for me. I don't want to cook it, you know, to where it's falling apart. I still like to have a little bit of that bite to my carrots when I'm making this. This cooked for about 15 minutes. Now we're going to add our pasta in. Now I would not recommend adding a whole lot. This is only 8 cups of liquid, because if you add too much, then it's not going to be soup. It's going to be like more of like a chicken noodles, but that's perfectly okay. You break yours to whatever size that you like. So I'm going to try to break these in like 3s, like this little handful and like 3. And I'm just going to add it right to my pot. I think I might do just a little tiny bit more. And again, I'm just eyeballing the pasta. Now, like I said, if you wanted to put chicken in it, you could get a rotisserie chicken and add some rotisserie chicken. I think that would be beautiful in this. The flavors would be amazing. Now we're just going to let that cook for, the thin spaghetti really doesn't take very long. It takes probably about 6 minutes or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir this and let it cook for about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, and then I'm just going to push it to the back of the stove and turn it off and let it just continue. Alright, I added just a little bit of parsley for color. I want you to look how beautiful that is. Now again, I just boiled my pasta for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then I just pushed it on the back of the stove and put the lid on it for maybe additional 3 or 4 minutes. Just to let my pasta get nice and soft. I mean, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that a beautiful soup? Let's go ahead and get us a bowl. And the amount of pasta I put in there was perfect. I didn't overdo it. I was afraid that I might have, but I didn't. Look at that. A little more pasta. Look at that soup. Look how beautiful that is. Can you see it? Just enough carrots in there for a little bit of color and a little bit of goodness. Look at that. This bowl's for you, Mom. Let me tell you something. To me, there is nothing any warmer or comforting than a nice big bowl of soup. Oh my goodness. That is so good. So good. And you guys seen how easy that was to make, you know, just using what you had on hand. Let me have one more bite. That is perfect. You know I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Take care.